Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. So in this video, it's gonna be super fun. Thank you all who voted on the post. It was about which tires and just your thoughts of 17-inch wheels. So I posted, should I get 35 by 13.5-inch tires? I've never had 13.5-inch tires before, so I'm wanting something a little bit different, or voting for 37 by 13.5. So out of 44 votes, 43% voted for 35-inch tires by 13.5. That means that the 57 other percent voted for the 37-inch tires by 13.5. All right, so in response to that post, and just with the votes and the amount of votes that I received for the 37-inch tires and just the thoughts on the 17-inch wheels, there were a couple comments in terms of, yeah, if you're not worried about the load rating, go ahead and go for the 17-inch wheels. So yes, I am aware of load rating, but let me go ahead and show you what I got. All right, so here we are. These suckers are beefy. All right, so these are 131 load range E, okay, 10 ply, 37 by 13.5, 17, 131. Do y'all see that? These things are beefy. So when it comes to load rating for these tires, I've got plenty of it. So I think they're rated for up to 4,300 pounds. Won't need that much. And then these wheels are plenty. So I think 3,700, 3,600, 3,800 pounds. So when it comes to load rating and just the amount they can handle, I've got plenty of it. So I'm not worried about that. I've been wanting this setup for quite some time. Because one, I love more tire than wheel, and two, these are 20-inch wheels, 295 by 65s. All right, so these are, I'm getting 15 miles per gallon with this setup, but I've always liked bigger tires, smaller wheels, so I figure I'm gonna have two sets, go back and forth for when I care about miles per gallon. So this is the first time I'm going 37 by 13.5-inch tires. All right, and this is also the first time I've ever had Toyo MTs. So I've heard nothing but great things about these tires. I'm super stoked. I knew for my second set I wanted to try these tires out, and so that's what I ended up getting. All right, so next thing I wanted to cover is my setup, how I purchased these for under 1,700 bucks. All right, so since I have two sets of wheels, I'm not spending $3,000 or $5,000 on each set or one set. Like, I'd like to have the freedom to go in between both. All right, and that also affected just the setup that I bought, and that's in terms of the Centromatic wheel balancers. All right, so before I get ahead of myself, let me go ahead and tell you about these things. So let me go over tires. I bought these used Facebook Marketplace, 650 bucks. All right, they got plenty of tread left. This one has 30 seconds left, 30 seconds, and then the back two, they have 30 seconds. All right, next are the wheels. So I bought these for about $140 each. I always wanted this type of tire, or this type of wheel. They look amazing. They look great for what I want to, just the look I'm trying to go for. So $140 each wheel. So for the TPMS sensors, I did buy TPMS sensors for these wheels. Yes, they're a little expensive, but you have to go OEM with these things. There's a lot of fake TPMS sensors out there. Don't fall subject to that because they just won't work on our trucks. Pay the extra $1 and get the OEM Motorcraft TPMS sensors so you don't run into any issues. I also have the frequency or the calibrator tool, so that'll help once they get thrown onto the truck. I also have those in the link in the description below, and for the wheels. All right, so next I had to get the tires mounted onto the wheels. I went to a local tire shop. They took care of that. It only charged me about 70 bucks to get those tires mounted up. All right, I told them I don't need them balanced because I'm throwing on Centromatic wheel balancers. For those who know what I'm talking about, I've heard nothing but great things, read nothing but great things about these wheel balancers. The reason why I'm going Centromatics is because, but now that I have two sets, it's going to be a little more difficult going back and forth, making sure they're both balanced. So I don't want to worry about that. I'm going to use the Centromatic wheel balancers from now on. There's still weights on these tires, and that's fine. These don't have any weights, which is also fine because this is exactly what these Centromatic wheel balancers do. Nothing but great things. These are going to do great for my truck. Can't wait to review these. But I also bought these through Amazon with the link in the description for about 225 bucks. Like I mentioned, here's the frequency tool. I'll go ahead and post the link in the description as well. Other than that, that is all it takes for this second set of tires and wheels, the entire setup. So like I said, 1,700 bucks got me the entire setup, which I am stoked about. Now, what I want to do is show you photos so that I don't take up an enormous amount of time videotaping. So I can't remember how heavy these were. I want to say roughly 100 pounds or so, but this is a light setup. I specifically want to talk about the weight on these wheels. So I believe tires 88 pounds, wheels came out to about 36 pounds, and then the weight for a tire and wheel aired up right at 60 foot-pound or 60 psi, weighs in right around 126. Definitely not the lightest setup of wheels and tires, but when you're throwing on 37s, you really don't care about the weight. You kind of know that you're going to lose about 3 miles per gallon. All right, guys, side note, I bought these spacers and they're supposed to lift the front end up about an inch. They were designed to sit right on top of the coil. I haven't installed these because one, the rake I didn't mind the rake too bad, but there is an 1.5-inch rake. Okay, so my front end is 1.5 inches lower than the rear. So if these tires were scraped or at least rubbing just a tad, I'm definitely going to throw those spacers, and those are only 100 bucks on Amazon. But if I don't need them, I'll go ahead and I guess kind of slow roll the install of them. I think I'm eventually going to throw them on the coil just to have a leveled look right on the truck. There is an option for bumper spacers, but that kind of throws off the look. I know you got to be definitely looking straight at it. I know it looks somewhat flush, but at the end of the day, I kind of like the OEM, the factory lines, everything lining up the way it should. Yeah, that's why I decided to actually buy just those 1-inch spacers. One of the two things that I did prior to actually getting the tires and wheels mounted and about to get installed was line up some lines. All right, door hinge right there. It's the bumper edge, and my truck's actually over it, but there's another one. Don't go further. So these are all lines to line up my bumper and truck up to my garage wall. Okay, so this will serve as a baseline to where my headlights were actually aimed at, so that once I throw on the tires and then throw on the spacers, I have to realign my headlights. All right. And so this is just like a prerequisite, just so I know, because I've never flashed anyone. No one's ever flashed me because my headlights were loaded too high. So I'm going to go ahead and use this as a baseline. In this specific range with where it lines up with the beam, not being too much higher, or else I'm going to start pretty much blinding the shit out of people. All right, guys, so I've taken enough of your time, enough of my time. I've been very anxious waiting for all the parts to come in. Stay tuned. Let me go ahead and put in the work and then show y'all what the truck looks like with different measurements after I'm done. All right, guys, so I just took you all around the truck. Truck is looking very, very good. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I got a little poke on the wheels. Yeah, here we are. No rubbing whatsoever. In a second here, I'm gonna go ahead, hop back into the truck, turn the wheels so I can show you no rubbing. But for those who don't know, I got a 4-inch BDS radius arm lift kit on the truck. Fox shocks. Other than that, just some traction bars when it comes to suspension. But yeah, no rubbing with these 37 by 13 and a half R17 tires, Toyo MTs. The 17 by 9s, these look beautiful, and I'm telling you, I was not expecting the spiked lug nuts to look so good on this wheel. But yeah, guys, love the look of it. Honestly, I was looking into 38 by 13 and a half or whatever size wheel I was going for. But honestly, I could not find a decent, fair priced set of used 38 by 13 and a half Toyo MTs. There's plenty of 37s out there. So, and that's why I ended up just going for the 37s. And who knows, if you know, some 38s pop up when it comes time to actually replacing these tires, then I'm absolutely gonna jump on 38s on this truck. So let me go ahead, hop up and turn the steering wheel so we can see how much rub, or if there is any, on the truck. All right, as you can tell, I got plenty of space as it continues to turn right. And then on here, yeah, plenty of space. All right, so let me go ahead and turn the wheels all the way to the right and see the difference. But guys, yeah, just like I said, there is no rubbing on these tires and wheels on the frame. So stoked about that. They didn't rub on my Nito 37 by 12 and a halves or 20. So yeah, plenty of space right there. No need for a bumper spacer. It's probably gonna be a couple months, but I may be doing something with that bumper. Right, and if I do something like that, it's going to add, I don't know, 150 pounds, probably 175 pounds to the front end. All right, so December 1st, squat lifts, those are illegal in North Carolina, and that would be if the truck is, your front end is higher than your rear end, and they just remove some rear blocks and straight pipe their vehicles in a Carolina squat thing. As you can see, my truck is leaning forward a little bit. Leaning forward and down, so that is the rake, and that is where my front end suspension is sitting about an inch, 0.5 under the rear end suspension, right? So if I add some weight up on the front bumper, that's where it's going to droop a little more up on the front end, because it's obviously a significant amount of weight. Not sure which specific bumper, but definitely something I want to do. So that's probably where those spacers are going to have to come in play and add an inch, bump this up a little bit, and then it would be sitting perfectly, probably about half of an inch of rake. So, and that's totally fine. Some of you probably already noticed, you see these silver things behind the wheel. These are the Centromatic wheel balancers, all right? And I've driven the truck about a couple of days already, and I am absolutely a fan. These wheels have 0 wheel weights on them. They are used Toyo MTs, probably half-life left. And I have 0 vibrations, 0 shake. Those Centromatic wheel balancers are the bomb, I'm telling you. I usually don't talk too highly of stuff that I put on my truck, but when it comes to things that really work, those are going to fall into that category. So the Centromatic 300-13, again, all the wheel parts that I bought for this wheel set are in the description box below. Check them out. If you're a fan of the setup, by all means, do it. It's definitely a beefy look. What we got here? All right, little exhaust action going on. All right, so let me take y'all inside of the truck. A little chilly out here, but it's definitely not as cold as it could be. Could always be worse. So what I'm gonna have to do is If you haven't seen my video on my AFE bias, changing the miles per gallon accuracy on your truck, go ahead and check that out. I'll post the link on the top right. But here it is showing 13.8. So the mileage and the miles per gallon that it calculates on your Ford computer are tailored to my 295 65 R20 size tires. And so now that I have much larger tires, so if those were 34 inches in diameter and these are about 36 and a half inflated in diameter, we're going to have a change in the actual mileage that I travel. My speedometer is going to be much further off. So now my speedometer is off 5 miles per hour, which is obviously going to throw off my miles per gallon. So check out my video. That'll show you how to adjust it to tailor it to your current setup on your truck. So I got my AFE bias, and that is 860. So probably in the next few fill-ups, I'll track and see what my AFE bias should be. Separately, I have my speedometer off by 5. There are kits out there, but you can actually set your speedometer to be dead on perfect as you're traveling with your larger size tires. If your truck is tuned, the Easy Link can change it, but if you go 37 or 40 inch tires to change it, change the setting through the Easy Link, it will throw a check engine light. And if you're anything like me, I'm not a fan of a check engine light. What I'm going to end up doing is going back into my Forescan, re-updating the code that I put for my 37 inch tires. I did this video a long time ago because I think 4,000 miles in, 5,000 miles in, I put 37 by 12 and a half inch Nitto ridge grapplers. All right, and so I got it almost dead perfect. I was about 1 to 2 mile per hour off, but if y'all have been playing with Forescan, trying to narrow it down for miles per gallon or the tire size, I mean, it's quite the pain because it's going to throw that check engine light, and that's not fun. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the code that I initially put in maybe like a year and a half ago. I'm also going to post a video, the link to that video in the top right. If you need to update your system for larger tires and you don't have an Easy Link, or if you don't want the check engine light and do have the Easy Link, go ahead and watch that video, and I'll go ahead and point you in the right direction when it comes to at least what code worked for me and my setup in my truck. All right, guys, one last thing before I let y'all go. I know it's probably a decent length video, but I didn't share you the measurements that I had on my truck prior and after the wheels. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull those up and share those with you because I know this is something interesting that I'm sure y'all would like to know about. So before this wheel and tire setup, I had 295 65 R20s. They're the Terra Grapplers G2s. So before, measurements were 45 inches on the front, and then 46 and a quarter to a 46 and a half. So not too perfect with my measurements there, but the way I measured them was from the ground all the way up to this edge of the wheel well. All right, so right there. So 46 and a half for the rears, and then 45 dead on for the fronts. All right, and so after the wheels were mounted up on the truck, I now have 46 and a quarter and about 47 and a quarter. Right, so I do have that inch worth of rake, which is funny because I had a little more with the lighter or the smaller tires, and that's just how it works when your weight distribution. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into the science or how the weight distribution really settles in with different setups or weight in your truck because it's currently unloaded. So I'm going to go ahead, get back into my truck. But guys, that's pretty much it. Hope y'all really enjoyed this video and like my wheels and tires. Please, if you like these wheels and tires and the setup that I threw onto my 19 F250 Platinum, feel free to like this video. Feel free to subscribe. I got plenty of other videos coming when it comes to 6.7 diesel F250 enthusiast kinds of stuff. So if y'all have any questions or comments, let me know down below. I try and answer every comment unless one's like extremely stupid, and they are definitely a dime a dozen. I rarely get those, and when I do, they are immediately flagged for my review prior to them actually getting posted, but there's some that slip by. But yeah, I'm here for y'all. Go ahead and let me know what y'all think. If y'all hate them, yeah, feel free. I mean, some people don't like the look of 17-inch wheels, 18-inch wheels. Some people prefer 22s, 24s, a little more wheel compared to tire. My perspective, I like a little more tire to my wheel. So that's just me. But guys, until next time, which should be fairly soon, please like and subscribe. But see y'all later.